Please don't squeeze the human. Hello, folks. Welcome back to our channel. This is your friendly neighborhood Goosebumps boy, and today I'm going to be reviewing another Goosebumps book review. I'm going to be reviewing another Goosebumps book, and today I'm going to be reviewing Invasion of the Buddy Squeezers Part 2. Invasion of the Buddy Squeezers Part 2, indeed. I just finished reviewing the first part of this book, so I thought to myself, why wait? Why not reviewing this two-part, the sequel to the first part straight away, without further ado. So before getting into the book itself, I would like to say a few things about the front cover. The front cover is really great, and if you actually have the original book, the first part, you'd find out something pretty interesting. The first part and this second part, if you put these books together next to one another, you'll find out that they actually complete each other. They're completing each other by making up a full picture, right? I think that's so beautiful and great, and I love how it appears when you do that. But yeah, basically this book cover is actually the second part to the first part of the first book, right? The first book cover. And basically you have meteorites falling down from the sky with aliens riding it. Those green alien creatures, they look really scary. One of them is actually in the foreground and is squeezing two teenagers. And one of them is actually holding a baseball bat. And another one seems to be wearing some cap. And another kid is hiding behind a rock. And basically you can tell from the sky that it's nightfall, right? And basically you have some light post in there pouring some yellow light. So the moon is high on the sky. It's actually huge. You have some stars here and there, sparkling stars in a very dark blue sky that's beautiful. And you have people in the background kind of running away, right? Running off. And you have houses, you have some trees, some shrubs, some lawns, some fences, some grass here and there. You have the pavement. It's all beautiful. What an awesome picture. I really love these front covers. Tim Jacobus is an awesome artist. Love his work. But let's move on to the book itself without wasting too much time, right, on anything. So basically, this episode, this two-part, this sequel, is actually basically starting off right where the previous book left off. And basically, the green alien is about to, get bigger and bigger. I don't want to spoil the book too much, but I have to mention a few things in order to kind of give you a good kind of summary of the plot. And basically, Jack, who's our main character, is basically gonna try and get out of his way. And his science teacher, Mr. Liss, is gonna be visiting him. And since Jack ran away from school before, he wanted to make sure that he was doing okay, that nothing was wrong with him. And but Jack is gonna tell him about the alien in his house, and Mr. Liss is gonna be searching, and something is gonna happen. I'm not gonna tell you what. But then Jack is gonna tell Mr. Liss that this alien is dangerous and they have to steer clear of its way. But Mr. Liss is gonna try something that is kind of, I would say, ill-advised. But then what happens is that something is going to happen, something big. And I'm not going to tell you what it is. Something to do with squeezing, all right? It's Invasion of the Buddy Squeezers after all. And basically Mr. Liss is going to start acting strange, right? He's going to start acting strange. And the alien is going to be kind of nowhere to be found. But then Mr. Liss is going to start acting in a very strange way, and he's going to have some green goo bubbling from his ears, according to the Goosebumps website. I'm quoting from there a little bit. and he's gonna keep asking Jack for a hug. Again, quoting from the Goosebumps website. Then Jack's mom and Billy are gonna show up, and Jack is gonna try to warn them against Mr. Liss, and he's gonna tell them about the alien, and Mr. Liss is gonna tell Mrs. Archer that what's happening to Jack is a little worrying, and sadly, Mrs. Archer is gonna believe him. Then basically, what this book is about really is that the whole town people, pretty much everybody, might be infected with something to do with the aliens, and they keep asking for hugs, right? And if they hug people, what happens is that something bad might happen, because you might be the one who's being hugged might end up getting infected themselves, right? So basically, this whole book is about Jack trying to run away from everybody, because everybody is a suspect. His friends, James Derek Lee and Henry Glover, then Maddie Weiner. Yeah, pretty much everyone is a threat now. And Jack is gonna try and save himself, right, and not not getting infected. And there's something about Mr. Fleshman in this book too, and a discovery is gonna be made about him, about some of what is his goal in this whole alien invasion thing. And I'm not gonna spoil it, but I'll let you find out for yourselves. And then Jack is basically, at some point, he's gonna go to he's gonna go swimming. They have that pool at school, that swimming pool, and for tryouts, Jack is gonna do something. I thought it was pretty cool, but then something might happen, so Jack has to once again try to run away from people and not get caught. And then something is going to happen, so he's going to ask Mrs. Berkman, the middle school principal, to help him, but it seems like no one wants to really help. And at some point, Jack is going to go to his father, and maybe his father can finally help. But yeah, not really, because there's something really like messed up about the whole thing. Like, nobody is who they claim they are, so all the more reason to, you know, not letting one's guard, not another good reason not to let one's guard down, and to be completely safe from whoever might, pretend to be a friend, because they might as well be foes, not friends, right? So basically, Jack is going to try really hard in this book to kind of counter the invasion by trying to help himself and the people around him. When some of his friends, like Maddie and Marcia, they might be completely good, completely pure, but they might be a threat as well. So in this book, pretty much everybody is a threat. So it's pretty much like a whole chasing kind of plot, really, until Jack is gonna find. He might find out about what's their weakness, and try and use it against them. I'm not gonna tell you what it is, but he's gonna try and figure out a way to basically help everyone go back to normal, and help everything go back to normal, the way it was before, and try to avert some possible wide-scale disaster that might ensue, that might result as this whole invasion, alien invasion thing, right? So I think I said it all. There's gonna be a scene involving some soaker. I'll let you find out for yourselves what it is, but I thought it was pretty cool. The whole part where Jack is gonna try and get to the deputy mayor. The deputy mayor who works with his dad, I believe. There's a pretty good scene in there too. But yeah, this whole book was pretty good in my opinion. I think I said enough about it, but I liked it okay. But in my opinion, the first part, even though the first part is more of a, it's not really about aliens per se. It's more like laying the ground for it. In my opinion, it was a tiny, teeny bit better. Not that this book wasn't good or anything, but it wasn't as great as the first part, in my opinion. But the whole chasing scene was okay, but at some point, maybe it kind of drags on to some extent. But it was okay for what it was. I really liked it. And the characters are good, in my opinion. The whole thing about nobody is who they are, who they claim they are. Everybody could be a threat. I thought that was pretty cool, too. And adding to this whole like fear factor. I thought that was pretty interesting as well. So if I were to rate this book on a scale from 1 to 10, I would give it 8 out of 10, in my opinion. The first book, I gave it 8.5 out of 10, if I'm not mistaken. This one, I'd give it an 8 out of 10. What about you, folks? What do you think about this book? Did you like this book? Did you hate it? Did you like Invasion of the Buddy Squeezers? Do you consider the first and second part as a whole book? Something I could have mentioned before. Do you consider it as a whole book, or separately like I do? In which case, which part did you prefer over the other? And I believe that this book was supposed to be a whole book, but Stein decided to split it in two. And this is the first kind of two-part book in the series. And I thought it was pretty good for what it was. So, yeah, that's pretty much it for this video. Thank you for watching, and I'll share the next review for another Goosebumps book, God willing. Thank you for watching. Goodbye. Take care of this whole channel, aka Goosebumps Boy for you, signing off.